Hello viewers, I'm your host Lipakshi Khurana with another episode of South Asia Focus. Let's begin the show. India has emerged as a shining beacon on the global economic stage. With a series of well-planned strategies, visionary leadership and a burgeoning young population, the country has defied global headwinds to achieve outstanding economic growth. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has not been shy in acknowledging this, and its recent upward revisions in India's GDP growth forecast only underscore the nation's economic prowess. Join us as we discuss how India has managed a steady growth despite multifaceted obstacles and how it stands poised to maintain the remarkable journey in times to come.
India's economic journey is riding high, excelling at all fronts. India is a nation on the move, making waves on the global landscape. The journey of India's economic resurgence began under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The Modi government's economic policies aim to address various aspects of the Indian economy, propelling it onto a path of unshakable stability. The road to success was not a mere coincidence, it was a meticulously crafted strategy. One of the foundational pillars of this economic transformation was the formalization of the economy, that not just focused at formalization but also widened tax bases and support for those at the lower rungs of the economic ladder. This formalization facilitated access to incentives, social security benefits, credit and financial services for those who complied.
10 years ago, India was the 10th largest economy as per purchasing power parity of the GDP. Today we are the 5th largest, and believe me, within 3 years we'll be the 4th or at least even the 3rd largest country. So what is happening is that India is in a very sweet spot because of the large number of positive forces which are reinforcing each other, some new, some old, which has reached their critical mass. With that particular so-called, I would say, a virtuous situation happening, India will be compounding in its growth rate over the years.
Government of India's policies streamlined business operations, thereby creating a favorable environment for investors and leading to record-breaking levels of foreign direct investment. India's economic rejuvenation extended to other vital sectors, including infrastructure development. Swift progress in areas such as airways, railways, and roadways was marked by an expansion and upgrade of infrastructure. This not only contributed to the country's macroeconomic strength, but was also expected to reduce logistics expenditure significantly, creating an optimal environment for businesses. Moreover, India's remarkable leap in global rankings for ease of doing business paved the way for increased foreign investments. Multinational corporations, from tech giants like Apple Incorporation to major corporations across various sectors, began to expand their operations in India. The country's business-friendly decisions and policies were instrumental in attracting these investments, ensuring a sustained period of economic growth and preventing any form of slowdown.
If you look on the fundamentals of the growth of the population as well as the international position of India, I think India is very well positioned and there will be further growth in the coming years. So in that sense, yes, I'm very positive for India, no doubt.
India's commitment to human capital development and innovation further accelerated the nation's growth velocity. A skilled, dynamic workforce is playing a crucial role in propelling India's economic growth. The government's efforts to upskill a significant portion of its population aimed at harnessing this massive potential has positioned India on a trajectory toward becoming a 40 trillion economy by 2047. In addition to this, India's foray into renewable energy, advancements in space exploration, and substantial efforts in various sectors underscore the country's potential as a global force to be reckoned with. These visionary initiatives, combined with business-friendly decisions, earned India praise and respect from countries worldwide. The International Monetary Fund's recent upward revision in India's GDP growth forecast for 2023-24 underscores the nation's economic resilience. India's growth is expected to reach 6.3%, a 20 basis point increase from the IMF's previous estimate. While the global economic landscape faces uncertainties, India's performance stands out. India's success story is a testament to the power of strategic planning and implementation. As the world navigates economic challenges, India's economic resurgence serves as a shining example, proving that with the right policies, a burgeoning workforce, and a commitment to progress, a nation can indeed emerge as a global economic powerhouse. The optimism surrounding India's future economic prospects is well-founded, making it one of the foremost nations on the global stage. In a world of economic uncertainties, India has managed to shine as a true bright spot and a symbol of the potential for sustained growth and resilience even in the challenging times.
As war rages on and more bloodshed looms between Israel and Hamas, India has unequivocally condemned the ongoing conflict as a series of terrorist attacks. The nation has called for an immediate ceasefire and the protection of innocent lives caught in the crossfire. Thousands of innocent people have already lost their lives and thousands more remain at risk in the escalating conflict that erupted after the terrorist group Hamas launched a surprise attack on Israel last week.
Hamas, notorious for its brutality, has allegedly carried out indiscriminate killings of civilians and has even threatened to execute hostages if its demands are not met promptly. The situation has sparked outrage and concern globally, with various countries taking action to address the crisis. US Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Israel and assured full support to the country. Leaders from other parts of the world too have lent their support to Israel and have condemned Hamas for violence. India, in a swift response to the escalating violence, called the strike as a terrorist attack and urged for negotiations for the resolution of the conflict.
I think we've been very clear that we see this as a terrorist attack. India has always advocated the resumption of direct negotiations towards establishing a sovereign, independent and viable state of Palestine, living within secure and recognized borders, side by side, at peace with Israel.
India has also emphasized the global responsibility to respond to terrorism in all its forms, reiterating India's consistent advocacy for an independent Palestine. In a show of commitment to the safety and well-being of its citizens in the region, India has initiated Operation Ajay. The primary objective of this operation is to evacuate Indian nationals from the conflict zone. More than 400 Indian and Nepali citizens returned home from war-torn Israel in the first phase of rescue and evacuation operations by their governments.
अभी की सिचुएशन बहुत वर्स्ट तो नहीं कह सकते, हाँ फिर भी क्रिटिकल है और गवर्नमेंट ने बहुत अच्छा काम किया जो सही टाइम पे लोगों को इवैक्यूएट किया, क्योंकि पोलैंड ने भी अपने सिटीजन्स को इवैक्यूएट करना शुरू कर दिया, इवन ऑलमोस्ट कर ही लिया और धीरे धीरे सारी कंट्रीज़ ने एक इनिशिएटिव लेना शुरू कर दिया.
Israel is home to a significant Indian expatriate community numbering approximately 18,000 people. This community consists of caregivers, diamond merchants, IT professionals and students, all of whom have been affected by the ongoing conflict. Hamas, a Palestinian militant organization formed in 1987, emerged during the first Palestinian uprising or intifada against Israel. Rooted in the Muslim Brotherhood, an international Sunni Islamist group that originated in Egypt, Hamas is committed to establishing a Palestinian state and adamantly rejects any peace deal with Israel, which it refuses to recognize. Ismail Haniyeh, the organization's political chief, operates from Doha, Qatar, taking over from former leader Khalid Masyal. The US State Department has designated Haniyeh as a terrorist due to his close links with Hamas military wing, the Izz ad-Din al-Qassam brigades. The military wing, currently overseen by Marwan Issa and Mohammad Deif, is playing a central role in the ongoing conflict. Mohammad Deif, believed to be the mastermind behind the latest assault on Israel, has been targeted by Israeli assassination attempts in the past. The situation remains tense, with global efforts ongoing to broker a ceasefire and protect innocent lives in the midst of the violence. India's proactive response in evacuating its citizens underscores the urgency and gravity of the situation.
Well, as the world watches in horror at the escalating violence between Israel and Hamas in the Gaza Strip, a new controversy has emerged, shedding light on Pakistan's alleged support for acts of terror in the region. While Pakistanis have expressed solidarity with the Palestinian people through protest and rallies, there is growing concern that some in Pakistan may be endorsing Hamas, the Islamist group responsible for the devastating attacks on the Israeli towns. And it was the result of these attacks that thousands have perished and thousands others are staring at the uncertain future.
In the capital city of Islamabad, hundreds of Pakistanis, including men, women and children, gathered for a rally to express their support for the Palestinians in the wake of Israel's retaliation against Hamas's attacks. The rally was organized by the prominent Islamist party Jamaat-e-Islami, and participants held both Palestinian and Pakistani flags, as well as placards reading "Free Palestine." The protesters called upon Islamic nations to stand with the Palestinians during this tumultuous time. However, the controversy arises when examining statements and actions by individuals within Pakistan that appear to endorse Hamas, a group labeled as terrorist organization by several countries, including the United States.
फ़लस्तीन के मुजाहिदों और हमास के गाजियों के साथ खड़े हैं और इस मौके पर हम यूएनओ और अमेरिका की बेहिसी नहीं बल्कि इस मौके पे जालिम के साथ खड़े होने को उसकी भी शदीद मजम्मत करते हैं.
Renowned Pakistani cricketer Mohammad Rizwan's open support for Hamas after Pakistan's victory in a league match in the ongoing Cricket World Cup has drawn criticism and raised questions about Pakistan's stance on the ongoing conflict. Additionally, the official statement issued by Pakistan at the United Nations seemed to undermine Israel's legitimate right to self-defense, referring to Israel's actions as the so-called declaration of war and expressing concern about the human cost of the situation. The recent outbreak of violence in the region has claimed numerous lives and led to extensive destruction. Israel's military operation in Gaza came in response to a violent Hamas attack on Israeli towns, resulting in hundreds of casualties and abductions. As the conflict escalates, Gaza's morgues have become overwhelmed with bodies, and Palestinian civilians have been forced to seek shelter in UN schools as Israeli airstrikes pound the enclave. The situation has only worsened as Israeli authorities continue to discover the bodies of families executed by Hamas fighters. However, all Pakistan and Pakistanis seem to be focused on is pushing a narrative that confirms only one side of the story.
हम सब मिलके उनके लिए आवाज़ उठाएं और मुस्लिम ममालिक के जो हुकूमतें हैं वो अपने तौर पर हुकूमत की ज़बान में बात करें. अमेरिका ने जिस तरह कहा है कि मैं उसके साथ खड़ा हूं, ये भी कहें भी हम उनके साथ खड़े हैं. और हम देखते हैं कि जब सारे मुसलमान उनके लिए साथ खड़े होंगे तो फिर इसराइल जो है वो उसकी कोई हैसियत बाकी नहीं रहेगी.
The ongoing Israeli strikes in Gaza have resulted in over 1,000 fatalities and left 4,000 people injured, with 187,000 individuals seeking refuge in UN schools. The blockade imposed by Israel has cut off essential services including electricity, water, food and fuel. While Pakistan's support for the Palestinian cause is well established, questions remain about the extent to which this support extends to Hamas, a group known for its involvement in acts of terrorism and the use of violence. The controversy surrounding this issue raises concerns about Pakistan's stance on international terrorism and its role in promoting peace and stability in the region.
And time now for Asia This Week, the stories from across the continent.
A strong earthquake rattled Afghanistan's western province of Herat on October 11, forcing authorities to redeploy relief and rescue teams already in the field following a series of deadly quakes. Nearly a week after earthquakes and aftershocks struck Afghanistan's western province of Herat, some residents in Herat city remain living in tents outdoors for fear of more quakes. Multiple earthquakes struck in the western province of Herat, destroying entire villages in the war-torn country, which has long relied on foreign aid that has dried up since the Taliban took over in 2021. Afghanistan's Taliban-run government has put out conflicting numbers on the death toll, with the Disaster Management Ministry saying over 2,400 had been killed, but the Health Ministry confirming just over 1,000. The UN's Humanitarian Office on Tuesday put the death toll at 1,294, but from just one district. Aid agencies launched fresh appeals for funds to deal with the fallout from the earthquakes as local authorities called for urgent help for thousands of people left homeless in the aftermath of the tremors. The nuclear-powered USS Ronald Reagan and its strike group arrived in the South Korean port of Busan on Thursday for a 5-day visit in a show of force against North Korea. Said Koenig, a spokesman for the carrier strike group, said on Friday the visit to South Korea provides opportunities to build interoperability at sea together towards shared goals of a free and open Indo-Pacific. US and South Korean forces have been staging intensified military exercises this year involving US aircraft carriers, submarines and advanced bombers in order, they say, to better respond to evolving North Korean nuclear and missile threats. North Korea denounced on Friday the US aircraft carriers' visit to South Korea, calling it a provocation that could bring irrevocable catastrophic circumstances. Thousands of supporters of the powerful Iraqi Shiite Muslim leader Muqtada al-Sadr demonstrated their support for the Palestinians during Friday prayers at a mass rally in Baghdad. Iraq's top Shiite cleric, Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, called on the world to stand up to the terrible brutality happening in Gaza and prevent Israeli plans to inflict more harm on the Palestinian people. Friday's rally took place as Israel's military gave Gaza cities more than 1 million Palestinians 24 hours to relocate to the south, whilst mosques in Gaza called on residents not to leave their homes. Hamas group killed more than 1,300 Israelis in its attack last Saturday. Authorities there said Israeli airstrikes in response have killed more than 1,400 people in Gaza so far. An Israeli ground invasion appears imminent.
Moving on, let's walk you through the culturally rich state of India, Gujarat, which is currently busy preparing for its most popular traditional dance form, Garba, which is performed for 9 consecutive nights to celebrate the 9 avatars of the most revered Hindu deity goddess Durga. Take a look.
Gujarat is often known for its festivals, rich culture, not to mention its folklore and folk dances, which are world famous. In spirit, as the Navratri festival approaches, the state is busy preparing for its most popular folk dance, Garba. Garba festival in Gujarat is a 9-night celebration of the feminine divinity Shakti or Durga, worshipping the 9th form of goddess. The Garba dance is typically performed in a large circle, with people dancing around a centrally lit lamp, picture or idol of the goddess Durga. The devotees mainly dance to Gujarati songs by rhythmically clapping and making graceful movements during the Garba. Amid the festivity, enthusiastic dance groups are striving to create something unique as a part of the pre-Navratri celebrations.
इंडिया का जो मेन मिशन है वो है वर्ल्ड कप, जो इंडिया में अभी खेला जा रहा है, जो बच्चों से लेकर बूढ़े तक इतना क्रेज़ है अपन को क्रिकेट में, वो आप सब देख ही रहे हो, आप सबको पता ही है। और उसके साथ साथ नवरात्रि आ रही है, मतलब उसका जोश, क्रिकेट का जोश जो मिक्सअप हुआ है अभी, जो माहौल जो बना हुआ है, उसके हिसाब से देव गरबा क्लासेस ने एक न्यू स्टेप इंट्रोड्यूस किया है, वो है क्रिकेट स्टेप।
Cities like Rajkot, Ahmedabad and Surat in Gujarat are the soul of the Garba festival, which surprises the state with its creativity every year by attracting throngs of tourists. Speaking of creativity, in a peculiar instance, a man in Ahmedabad created a unique attire for the 9-day festivity, as he embedded Chandrayaan-3, the moon, Ram Mandir and Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the turban, naming it a Ram Rajya Pagdi.
मैं हर बार की तरह इस बार भी एक बहुत ही सुंदर मजा की पगड़ी लेकर आया हूं, और ये जो मेरी पगड़ी है उसका नाम है राम राज्य पगड़ी। जो राम राज्य नाम पगड़ी मैंने इसीलिए रखा है क्योंकि उसमें मैंने राम मंदिर रखा हुआ है अपनी पगड़ी में, और अपने जो नरेंद्र भाई मोदी है उनको भी रखा हुआ है। इसका जो वजन है 3 से 3.5 किलो होता है, और मैं 9 दिन यही पगड़ी और यही कॉस्ट्यूम पहन के खेलता हूँ।
On the occasion of the pre-Navratri celebration, dance performers donned vibrant, colourful traditional attire and participated in the dance events. During the event, some socially conscious groups were also there, holding placards in hands and saying no to drugs and tobacco, therefore creating awareness through the festival.
आजकल की युवा पीढ़ी बहुत ड्रग्स में और वो सब में स्मोकिंग में खो गई है, तो मेरी तरफ से ये छोटा सा संदेश है कि वो ड्रग्स और वो ना करे। सरकार भी ट्राई करे और हम भी थोड़ा बहुत ट्राई कर रहे हैं कि लोग ड्रग्स से दूर रहे, और उससे बहुत हेल्थ के लिए बहुत हानिकारक है ड्रग्स।
Festival like these resonates in the hearts of common people with joy and happiness while bringing stability to their lives. Meanwhile, it also serves as a platform for many who seek an opportunity to express their talents and creativity to the world.
India is a country with vibrant cultures and diversity. Festivals like these resonate in the hearts of the common people. With that, we come to the end of this week's episode. See you next week. Goodbye and take care.